What is up, folks? How's it going? This is Waj from MW Technology. Hope you guys are all doing well. And today we're going to be taking a look at three microphones from Shure. Firstly, we have the SM4. This is a condenser mic with XLR connection. Then we have the hybrid mic, the MV7 Plus, which has XLR and USB connection. Then we have the gaming-centric USB-only MV6. Comes at a lower price point, and we're going to basically take a look at all three of these microphones in terms of how they sound, the core feature sets, as well as the advantage and disadvantage that each microphone presents to figure out which one is right for you. Okay, so the first thing we're going to take a look at is how each microphone sounds in relation to one another. So this is the SM4. This is an XLR condenser microphone with a large 1-inch brass capsule. So this is great for obviously vocals, for music, as well as podcasting, of course, as well as just a general purpose microphone. But you are going to need some sort of audio interface, whether that be a mixer with phantom power that interfaces with XLR only, since this is not a USB mic. Now, what you're listening to right now is the Shure MV7 Plus. This is a hybrid mic with both XLR and USB-C integration. It looks very similar to the classic SM7B, but it has some modern touches like this LED light strip, which will give you indication of where your levels are at. You can also customize this illumination, and the form factor and overall size is a little bit more compact than the original 7B, but hopefully it sounds just as good. Now, what you're listening to right now is the Shure MV6. This is USB only, specifically designed for gamers or really anybody that wants a simple microphone that interfaces with USB-C and is plug and play. Sounds pretty decent out of the box, especially for the under $150 price tag that this thing comes with. Now, here we're back with the SM4, and I want to talk you through some of the key feature sets of this microphone. So it is a cardioid pickup pattern, much like the other microphones, but it is a condenser mic, so you're going to need an XLR connection with phantom power to run this thing. And Shure, being the legendary microphone company that they are, with things like the SM7B, the SM58, 57. This definitely sounds like an SM microphone. It has that signature trademark sound. And one of the great things about condenser mics is their versatility. So you can record super quiet things since it's very sensitive, up to very loud things up to 140 decibels. So things like loud guitar amps, screaming vocals, or brass instruments. And one of the key highlights of the SM4 is the shielding from radio frequencies. So if you're using a cell phone nearby, or Bluetooth or Wi-Fi signals are in the room, like many modern places these days, you're not going to get that signal interference, and you're going to get a nice clean signal. Another big highlight is that straight out of the box, it's ready to mix. You don't really need to do too much to make this mic sound pretty good for anything that you're recording, like a good mic should be, but you can easily add EQ, compression, whatever you want later on in post, but this is really designed to be really quite usable straight out of the box. Lastly, this does have an internal pop filter, but if you want to add your own or use Shure's, that's definitely possible as well, but it is usable without a pop filter, but for the most part, I would probably recommend using one. Now, let's go over some of the key features on the MV7 Plus. Firstly, it has the advantage of having USB-C connection, so you don't have to go to a USB audio interface. But if you want to do that for perhaps whatever reason, if you're using an existing mixing board, or you want to use your onboard effects and things like that for XLR, you have that connectivity. It is a dynamic mic, much like the 7B, and the sound quality overall sounds quite similar. Not exactly the same, but in that ballpark. Now, the real key features on this mic definitely have to do with the Motive Mix software that's available on Mac OS X and Windows. And within the software, you can turn on auto levels, so that'll adjust your volume levels automatically. I personally don't like the sound of auto levels. The algorithm on this is not too bad, but I personally like to set it at a specific level since I don't want that fluctuations in terms of volume. And if you have a controlled space, that's good to do. But if you want to mess around with auto levels, that's an option for you. You have a built-in compressor limiter. You have EQ settings if you want to go from a darker, natural to a brighter sound with those presets. You also have a built-in reverb, real-time denoiser, popper stopper built in, as well as a high-pass filter. And here you can also change your LED illumination levels, either through the live mix, which will give you an indication of what your volume is at with the light strip. You can also have a pulsing illumination style as well as a solid style, and change some of the color parameters within this menu as well. Now, this, like the 7B, does have a built-in foam pop filter. You can obviously add an additional one one if you so desire, but this built-in pop filter is actually pretty good. And in conjunction with the software pop filter, you're going to eliminate many of the problematic issues that you're going to have with your P's and C's and things like that. At the back, you have a USB-C connection as well as a full-size XLR connection and a headphone jack. Some of the things that are missing from the MV7 Plus is a volume for your headphone as well as a volume for your mic gain. That's all done through the software, which is kind of unfortunate, but to be expected from a dynamic microphone like this. Another drawback is the fact that this LED light strip is also capacitive touch, and if you touch it, it will actually go into mute, and you can easily adjust the mic with your hand and tap that mute button and accidentally mute your microphone, which is definitely not good. But luckily there is a software lock for the mute, so that doesn't happen. Now here you're listening to the Shure MV6 USB only microphone, which is basically a budget-oriented MV7 Plus without any XLR connections and some features missing in terms of the software enhancement when it comes to effects, compression, and things like that. But generally the sound is a little bit more brittle. It doesn't have the same amount of compression and lower mid-range as the MV7 Plus, but it sounds pretty great. And if you tweak the EQ, you can make it sound excellent, in fact. And really what this thing is competing against is the legendary Blue Yeti microphone. And I'm curious to see how this thing sounds compared to the Blue Yeti. So let's switch. Now here what you're listening to is the classic Blue Yeti. I pulled it out of the closet. I've had this thing for over a decade now, and this thing is still one of the most popular USB microphones on Amazon. You could find it for under $90 these days, and it has a lot of awesome features, like you can change the polar pickup pattern to omnidirectional, cardioid, as we're using it right now. You have a dedicated dial for your mic gain. You can adjust your headphone levels as well as a headphone jack, and just as a plug-and-play solution, this was always the king of the value proposition microphone, but I was never a massive fan of the sound. You could always tweak it to make it sound a little bit better, but does the MV6 sound better or worse than this Blue Yeti? Now here we are back with the MV6. Now this does have built-in denoise as well as a popper stopper within the software itself. You do have a foam cap for the actual microphone itself, so it does a good job of stopping P's and T's and things like that. But overall, if you're looking for a budget-oriented microphone that has pretty decent features, is really easy to use, and a decent sound out of the box, this is definitely not a bad solution. Okay, so now we're going to do a noise reduction test. So right now we have noise reduction turned off on the MV7 Plus. We basically have some ambient noise playing on my phone, and you could probably hear that it is quite noisy. So we're going to basically turn on the noise cancellation now. Now you're listening to the voice cancellation turned on, and does my voice sound any more muffled, and is the background noise significantly reduced? This is on. This is off. Now we switch over to the MV6 with noise cancellation turned off, and this is what it sounds like with it on. Now we've turned on noise cancellation on the MV6, has the background noise reduced significantly, and is my voice capturing through the microphone compromised in any way? Now, in summary, if I had to pick one microphone out of the three, I'd probably go with the best sounding one, which is the SM4. It definitely has some limitations in the fact that it's an XLR only microphone, so you're going to need an audio interface, but if you want the best sound quality, that's probably what you're going to have to do anyways for any good microphone. But if you want something a little bit more versatile, the MV7 Plus is definitely a great option. It's very similar sounding to the SM7B at a lower price point, as well as has that versatility factor of having the USB-C connection on top of having the XLR connection. So if you want a great dynamic sound microphone that has echoes of the SM7B, the MV7 Plus is definitely within that ballpark. In terms of the MV6, it's a great USB microphone. Definitely well priced, and definitely has a different character to the Blue Yeti. Does it sound any better? I think it has a little bit of an edge up in terms of mid-tone response, a little bit better bass response, and certainly a lot better in terms of its pop filtering capabilities with that built-in pop filter, both software and hardware. So from that standpoint, straight out of the box, I think it's better than the Blue Yeti as a basic USB microphone. But really on that, guys, that's really it. I definitely enough to know what you guys think of all three of these microphones. What microphone are you using right now? Are you using an XLR microphone, a USB microphone, and which do you think is the best option out there for a general purpose USB microphone and a general purpose XLR microphone? So love to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I want to give a huge shout out to Shure for giving us the opportunity to test out these products. They've been really supportive of the channel, and really couldn't make this video without them. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed, have post notifications turned on, and we'll see you real soon in the next one. Take care.